Yo, what's up? It's Rick and Matt.
You.
Little late night podcast.
Yeah. Luckily we were able to squeeze it in.
It's 9:30. Difficult work schedules this week. It was tough to tough to find the time. So we're gonna try and power through this real quick. All while taking the time though to fully discuss the playoffs.
Oh yes.
So we start tonight's podcast with some breaking news. Fleaners lose Mark Ingram. As of 4 hours ago, he went on season-ending IR. That's a big loss.
Why did he sustain this injury?
I get it had to be Sunday. I knew he was questionable the whole.
I didn't hear anything about it.
Yeah, but it's a big loss.
Yeah.
Big loss.
A bad time.
So, like we always do, let's start with the Fab report. It's very light, obviously, with only 6 teams, and pretty much every team's pretty much set in their ways. So, Fresh Legs goes out and picks up Zach Miller, drops Martellus Bennett for $8. You drop Andrew Luck, pick up the Bears defense.
Yeah, I don't even think I'm gonna start the Bears defense. I don't know.
It was just a.
I was thinking, and then I was like, nah. The Bears defense. I got one of the best defenses in the league. So I don't know. I doubt I'm gonna start them though.
So it was just a move for a move.
Yeah, probably just drop them again. Whatever.
Optimus Stein. I went out and picked up Steven Hauschka. I'm now carrying 2 kickers. Dropped Jacob Tammy. Holy Chip spent their last dollar. They are out of money. So that's pretty big. They pick up James White. Drop Luke Wilson. That lasted 1 week. And then Fresh Legs with both the first and last move this week. They pick up the Lions defense and drop the Titans. So,
who do the Lions play this week?
Who do the Lions play this week? That's a good question.
The Rams, right?
Do they play the Rams? Yeah, the Rams.
The Rams offense blows.
Yeah, they're fucking horrible. So, I know we usually wait till the end to do this, but you went 2-3 last week. I went 0-5. First real bad week of the year. So,
Jesus.
So coming into this week, a lot of crazy things could have happened to bring other teams in, and with you winning and the Fleaners winning, there was no craziness. Yeah. I mean, you guys were already in the playoffs, and with wins, you guys clinch, and that was going to be it. So there was really no craziness, no 4-way tie, and it went to points or anything like that. So let's get into it. Last week, we had Watt taking on Optimus, and what was able to explode.
He was. I mean, I needed it. I really needed it. I finally put together a half decent week.
Yeah, so. 196. It still wasn't good for, you came up 5 points short.
Yeah.
Of
the high score.
High score for the week, but I mean 196 is usually going to get you a win, and it was really the Jets, the Richard Rodgers play at the end of the Lions game.
Yeah, that was huge.
I mean obviously it really didn't factor into the end score because it was worth
I would have wiped it out.
Yeah, it was worth 15 or 20 points. So you still would have won comfortably, but I mean it was just nice to have.
I get a great game from Fitzpatrick and Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
Decker chipped in too.
Yeah, Decker had a nice game. And then the Bengals defense had a real nice game. Yeah. They only gave up 3 points. On the other side, I mean, Optimus,
you put up 160.
I put up 160, and when I look at it, I got pretty much no production from Peterson, Kelsey, and Jeffrey had an okay game. I got 26 out of the Broncos defense. They scored again on defense. So, I mean, I'm happy. You put up 160 and you don't even play. Right. You feel like you don't play that great.
For you.
Right.
I know you were chasing that record, but
well, actually, we went back and we looked it up. Amel's best record was not 11-2; it was 10-3, because he finished that season as 11-4 and lost in the championship.
So you do have the best record.
So the best regular season record now belongs to Optimus at 11-2.
Yeah.
At 11-2. Oh yeah, so you know how much money you win for that? $0. But for the season, you do win $50 for best record.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an extra $50, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else to say about this moving forward?
No.
No?
I mean,
Okay.
I just needed it to happen. It happened.
Yeah. We really haven't texted much this week, We've been kind of...
I've been really busy, actually.
So we really haven't really talked about fantasy at all.
Yeah, I've been on the night shift for, like, the past week, and it's just... I go to work and I sleep. That's basically it.
Prestige Worldwide took on Ash Gerbil. And Ash Gerbil got the win. That's 3 wins to close out the season at 4-9.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, we say this every week, if it wasn't for the rocky opening, but... at least he finished strong. He finished 4-9.
Here's the thing. He finally started making some waiver wire moves.
Yeah.
Picked up Blake Bortles.
That was a little while ago.
Yeah.
He's had Bortles for a while.
Well, how many weeks ago?
Yeah.
Though?
I don't know. Maybe 4, 5.
Deshaun Jackson came back. That sparked him another 20 points. A little too late though.
So Asher will finish the season at 4-9, and Prestige with a loss is at 7-6, and they will be the 3 seed in the playoffs.
Yeah.
With the loss and coupled with a Fresh Legs loss, they clinched the 3 seed. And I guess I should say you finished 6-7 on the season. I finished 11-2. So we'll try and recap everybody's record here. So Prestige Worldwide, even with the loss, they're going to be the 3 seed, and 172. Just like even though you lost,
you usually win with 170.
right?
Too,
It's
going to be tough next week.
You had a huge game out of Allen Robinson, and then just pretty much steady production up and down that lineup.
Yeah, I knew Allen Robinson was going to have a huge game when I saw that Allen Hurns wasn't going to be in.
Yeah, he got peppered a lot.
Yeah, he's going to get some targets.
Yeah. So, and then, like you said, on the Ash Gerbil side, Deshaun Jackson started to play. AJ Green had a nice game. Like Bortles puts up 50. And Golden Tate pretty much canceled out anything that Calvin Johnson did. So, congratulations to Chris to finish out on with 3 wins. You never want to see somebody go like fucking
4 wins.
Well, he won 3 in a row.
Oh, okay.
To get the 4-9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so not the greatest way to finish the season, but at least you go out on a win. So Prestige Worldwide will now be the 3 seed in the playoffs. Probably the biggest game of the week was Fleeners taking on Fresh Legs.
Pretty high scoring week.
It was
looking at
a lot of
numbers now.
Yeah, a lot of scoring. This game could have, Fleeners could have missed the playoffs if they had lost. There was playoff seeding involved with this game. So both teams finished the season at 6-7. Fleeners move up to the 4 seed, and Fresh Legs is going to be the 5 seed.
Fresh Legs. Who would have thought he would have ended up with a losing record after the first 5
So
weeks?
Fresh Legs started 5-0. That means he closed the season at 1-7. So not going on a hot streak into the playoffs here at all here. So
Fleeners just put up a really good all around.
Yeah. I mean, Fresh Legs. You put up 154. You're usually in some kind of game, but just like you, they got the big Rogers bonus at the end of the game.
Yeah.
He got a what was it, a 61-yard touchdown?
All kinds of bonuses involved in that.
All kinds of bonuses. They had a nice game.
Let me ask you something. What was your reaction when you saw that play?
I was hammered drunk.
I know, but what was your reaction? Were you like,
what?
Completely like.
No. You know what? I really wasn't. And I'm going to tell you what. And I'm going to tell you what.
I've been throwing stuff in my house.
Every Thursday night game where I've really gone down, I've always come back to win. So I was like, you know what? I'll just come back and win. And I still put up 160. But week 1, I played the Fleeners, and they had Antonio Brown, and Antonio Brown put up like a 30 spot. Came back and won that game. So I was like, it's not the worst thing in the world. If a couple of his guys do shitty, I can make up those points pretty easy.
Yeah,
but I mean,
by no means was I 100% confident that I was going to win the game.
But at the same time, of course, I never want to go down 36 to one guy on Thursday night and basically be fighting the uphill battle.
I didn't hear
the whole way back.
I was about to go up to bed, so I went out back to smoke a cigarette, and I look at my phone. My phone was fucking up all night long. For some reason, it kept switching the score on Richard Rodgers.
Well, they kept doing that because of the last play of the game. They didn't know how to score it.
No, but even before that, in like the third quarter. Like,
Oh, really?
it was showing that he had like 42 points, and I'm like, what the fuck? What is going on here? And then it would go back down. It would go back down to 16, and then it would go up to like. I was like, it was always inconsistent. So I'm out back looking at my phone, and I see it says 36, and I'm like. Because I was happy with 8 for 80 from Richard Rodgers, you know?
Right, you get 16
points from Richard Rodgers. I was ecstatic. And then I saw that, and that's when I texted. I was like, did he just fucking score, or is my phone fucking up again?
But yeah,
Then I go
Fleeners.
upstairs, and he was like, I think your guy just scored. I was like, what?
They had a nice game from Ingram, but obviously, like we talked about, they lose Ingram. Scott Chandler, you just said 16 points. 8 for 80 would have been 16 points.
Yeah,
and, you know, that's what they got out of Chandler. Stewart had a nice week. Antonio Brown with Roethlisberger is just an absolute monster. And then on the other side, you know, Matt Ryan just kind of continues to struggle. Julio Jones is not the same receiver he was in the first half of the season.
Even though Julio Jones, or is it Matt Ryan?
I think it's a little combination of both. I mean, he's not catching everything thrown his way, and he's not getting as many targets. Thomas Rawls had a nice game. Martellus Bennett kind of let him down. Oh, look at that. Martellus Bennett to IR. Out for season. So that's why he went out and picked them up. Devontae Freeman's still steady. So these teams...
Sammy Watkins starting to show some life.
Yeah. Yes, he is. That's 2 big weeks in a row now.
Yeah.
So in a rare instance, we get a week 13 rematch next week between these two teams. Okay, moving on. Holy Chip. They lost to double tight end set in a game that double tight end set needed to win, but they needed help. So they finished the season 6-7, and they finish 1 spot out of the playoffs. Holy Chip finishes at 9-4, and that's 2 straight losses for Holy Chip.
I mean, where do you point the finger? I mean, I know. Brady lost all of his receivers, but he's still putting up great numbers.
Mm-hmm. A lot of that was junk time because they throw it a ton in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they always throw it though, but he just didn't get.
You know, Gurley's really struggling.
He's down to LaFell and Matthews.
Yeah, and LaFell can't catch, literally can't catch a fucking football. So, would you say going into the playoffs,
Gurley can't do anything anymore? Maybe is it because they're just falling behind so much? I mean, he only had 9.
Well, the offense stinks.
Yeah,
the offense stinks.
Rushes.
Yeah, and what was actually scary was when you look at his line, he had 9 for 41. One of those carries went for 34 yards. So the other 8 went for 7 yards. So Todd Gurley is really starting to struggle, and people are wondering, you know, is it the offensive line? Is it the lack of weapons on the outside? Is it because you have Alston Davis, a quarterback, or Nick Foles? Could he be hitting the rookie wall? You know, he's coming off that torn ACL. Maybe he's getting a little bit tired, not used to like an NFL schedule. So I have Todd Gurley in a couple other leagues, and I'm in the same boat. Like, you can't bench him.
No.
You know what I mean? So you just got to kind of ride this out. So that's 2 straight losses for Holy Chip. Obviously, they're going to be the 2, and they get the bye. Are you worried about this team?
Holy Chip? Now, no. Right now, I'm not.
So if you played them, you'd be fully confident?
I'd rather play Holy Chip right now than Prestige Worldwide.
Just because of all the injuries that have kind of like continued to mount?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks for Kev because, I mean, his Holy Chip...
all season long
lost their fucking 2 of their best guys.
Mm-hmm.
Foster, and you know, I mean, he's trying to do the best he can with what he's got right now.
And he also lost Eifert.
I
mean, and nobody knows if he may come back this week. I really haven't seen the reports. I really haven't had a chance to look. But this is a team that's might struggle a little bit in the playoffs. Really lost a lot of firepower. Yeah. On the other side, double tight end set had a really nice week. They did exactly what they needed to do, but they just couldn't get the help that they needed. You know, Javoris Allen had a monster day. Andy Dalton had a nice day.
Landry was like non-existent.
Yeah. Owen Daniels, but I mean, they did enough to get the win, and they put up 160. But okay. Anything else you want to add about this, or no?
I mean,
okay. And then in the last game, ABC took on One Too Many. Both these teams needed a win and then a ton of help. One Too Many did not need as much help as ABC to make the playoffs. But in the end, it was kind of a lost cause for both teams because neither one got the help, and both teams finished 5-8 on the season. So.
Yeah, I mean, nothing really. I mean, Blackrockers put up a good game.
Yeah. They went out and, like we talked about last week, they broke the bank to get David Johnson. They spent the rest of their money. So they did everything that they could. They got Forte back, but it was just a little bit too late for them.
Yeah, they just needed other things to happen.
You know?
Yeah. They put up a good score.
Yeah. I guess going back on this season for ABC, you could probably look at two spots where kind of went wrong for them. They started the season, I believe they started 2-0 or 1-1 or 2-1, and then they went on they kind of fell off. But then weeks 10, 11, and 12, when they lost Forte and Sanders wasn't playing, and Sanders was barely playing, if he was even playing, and I understand their frustration with the Cincinnati backfield. I mean, Giovanni Bernard is. You just don't know. Yeah. That's why I can't start Hill, because you don't know what guy's going to get it.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to start either one of them guys, but you never know.
Right.
Anything to say?
Yeah, at least just on our side, it's a shame Chris Ivory was off to a really good start, and then they started putting Bilal Powell in. And
well, they fell so far behind. They were down 20-10. Oh, Bilal Powell got a ton of work in that game because he's the pass catcher. That's why they put him in.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, nice game from Roethlisberger. But I guess, I don't know, maybe we'll do one final podcast when the season's completely over and look at everybody's team. But obviously, one too many just can look at the first 3 rounds of their draft. And that's pretty much where it went wrong.
And it's not like they were bad picks.
No, it was Lacey, Cobb, and Hilton. And I believe Cobb was the 2nd round pick. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have thought
like nobody really thought that Cobb was going to struggle without Nelson the way that he did.
I think everybody thought Cobb was going to fucking go through the roof.
Right.
You know?
And Devontae Adams sucked, and that's why Rodgers has fallen in value. A hurt Andrew Luck. Actually, a bad Andrew Luck in the beginning of this season. Yeah. It really hurt Hilton. And Lacey never got rolling. So, not that they were bad picks. They were just busts. They just didn't work out the way
what's his drought now? How many years is it?
He actually won the championship in 2011.
And hasn't made the playoffs since.
And has not made the playoffs since. That's 4 straight seasons for one too many without a playoff appearance. Yeah. He's like the 0-2 Bucks. They made that Super Bowl and then that was it. You know? But he does have a championship, and that's more than some of the people in the league can actually say.
Yeah.
You know? But, yeah, that's 4 straight years. And that's also for Asher. You know, joined the league 2 years ago. That's 2 straight years. He's never made the playoffs. So, I mean, there's I don't know. There's a certain amount of luck in it, but there's also a certain amount of work that needs to go in for, like, research and who do you want.
I mean, this year I think it just came down to Chris. I mean, I thought Chris made 3 good top 3 picks, but I mean,
they just didn't pan out.
Right. All of them were duds this year.
Right. Okay, so did I say this already? You went 2-3 on your picks last week.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say that?
Mm-hmm.
I went 0-5, and you finished the season at 20-30. I finished the season at 36-14. So let's talk playoffs. Can we talk playoffs? Can we talk playoffs now?
Playoffs.
It's only week 14. We can talk playoffs. Good. Okay, so Optimus is your 1. Holy Chip is your 2. They both get buys. They don't play till week 15. Week 14, we'll see the 3 seed Prestige Worldwide take on the 6 seed What? And in the 4-5 matchup, you have the 4 seed Fleeners taking on the 5 seed Fresh Legs.
What was that thing we did last week where we picked who would make the playoffs?
Yeah, we did that back in week 7.
When Kev was on the podcast?
Yeah, when Kev was on the podcast, this was banking that Optimus, Holy Chip, and Fresh Legs were going to make the playoffs. Because at the time, Tommy was like 5-1 or 6-1 or whatever he was. So you said what? PW and ABC were going to make the playoffs.
Oh, so I lost.
So you lost on that. I said one too many. ABC.
Ooh.
And then I was between PW or what for the final spot. So I lost 2 of them. I got 1 of them.
Right.
And then Kev said that double tight end set, what, and PW would make the playoffs.
So we tied.
Yeah. So he missed it by 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who did? Oh, he didn't have the Fleeners. And then when we had Lake on as a guest, Lake said that it would be the Fleeners, ABC, and double tight end set. So he missed it by 2. So playoff predictions did not turn out so well. So, being as this might be our last podcast, I figured let's preview week 14. We'll pick our winners, and then we'll fill the bracket out. Now, I understand that both of us are probably going to pick our own teams. So what I'm asking for is after that, let's take an objective look and say, okay, what team other than yourself do you think really has a chance to win the championship? Copy that?
Yep.
All right. So first game up. You want to do your game first or the Fleener game first?
Whatever's up.
All right. So let's do Fresh Legs is going to take on Fleeners. The Fleeners are a 3-point favorite. I'll run this one down. You can run yours down. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Fresh Legs. Breaking news. We got a new quarterback. Matt Ryan has been benched. And we got Jameis Winston taking on Aaron Rodgers. We got Devontae Freeman against Doug Martin. We got Julio Jones taking on Mike Evans. Jordan Reed, Scott Chandler. Obviously, Chandler could change to Gronk if Gronk was to play.
Right.
And obviously, they've updated their lineup since the Ingram injury. We got Thomas taking on Antonio Brown. Thomas Rawls taking on Jeremy Maclin. Sammy Watkins taking on Jonathan Stewart. Josh Brown taking on Dan Bailey. And the Lions taking on the Seahawks, defensive-wise. Okay. So, that's a tough one.
It is tough.
This is a real tough one. So how much of Jameis does that cancel out Doug Martin and Mike Evans? Because I think Jameis is actually in store for a pretty big game. But if none of that goes to Mike Evans, and it goes to like Vincent Jackson and Austin Seferian-Jenkins and Connor Brate and some of these other guys, maybe Mike Evans goes for, because what it seems like he goes for with Vincent Jackson on the field is around 60 to 80 and a touchdown. Let's say he doesn't get the touchdown, and maybe Vincent Jackson double dips this week. That could be the swing in who wins this game.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for a while. I don't love the Julio Jones matchup against Josh Norman. I don't like the Devontae Freeman against Carolina, especially at Carolina. Atlanta just does not play well outdoors. They just lost to the Bucs outdoors. So, I think Jordan Reed's a nice play this week. I also think Scott Chandler's a good play because obviously that's all they got. I don't know about Demaryius Thomas. You have to roll him out there, but I don't know if I trust him.
Osweiler doesn't throw to him.
Right. And when he
doesn't
catch
it.
Obviously, Pete's going to start Antonio Brown. They're going to start Jeremy Maclin. Thomas Rawls has a nice matchup with Baltimore. They've almost mailed it in for the year. Sammy Watkins could be the difference in this game. If he can come in and he burns Byron Maxwell, maybe he goes for he has that Chiefs game that he had a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
150-1 or 150-2. That could be the difference. So, what do you like about this?
God, it's just fucking tough. I'm starting to lean. At the beginning, I was starting to lean towards Fresh Legs, but now I just don't trust Jameis Winston as quarterback, and then especially when he's throwing to Mike Evans on the other side of his fucking scoreboard. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to torch Dallas.
Really, I think Dallas's defense is half decent. Their pass defense is actually half decent, and Aaron Rodgers has nobody to throw to. He has no receivers that
you
get
know what?
separation.
I think, yeah. That I'm not trying to boast my fucking team or anything right now. What I'm saying, I think Richard Rodgers. He caught eight passes. I think he's gonna. Defenses are going to be more aware of him now, and maybe that's going to free up some people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Aaron Rodgers knows that, you know, and I think they're going to feed off that. And if they don't, then I'm sure Richard Rodgers is probably going to get a ton of touches again. But yeah, I think they're going to torch. I think he's going to torch down. I think that Hail Mary might have boosted his confidence a little bit more and got them back on like the what's the word I'm looking for? Momentum.
On track.
Momentum. They got momentum now.
All right.
You know.
All right. Well,
I'm gonna have to go ahead and say Fleeners too.
You're gonna take Fleeners.
Yeah.
I've been saying all along, because of that matchup, I would always lean against Tommy. I just don't like the Carolina matchup. It's scary. It's not what you're looking for. But I can see myself talking myself into this team, but I think Antonio Brown's too much of a monster. And I'm also going to go Fleeners.
I also think Doug Martin's going to run all over New Orleans.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So, I mean, if they do get up big, does Doug Martin just kill the clock? Okay, so we're both taking the Fleeners. So the 4 seed was moving on. Okay. Last game. That was quick. Quick preview.
That wasn't bad. I thought we thoroughly analyzed it.
All right.
So you're a what? Versus Prestige Worldwide.
15-point underdog you are.
I've been an underdog all year. Ryan Fitzpatrick versus Eli Manning. Jarkandrick West versus D'Angelo Williams. Brandon Marshall versus Allen Robinson. Richard Rodgers versus Gary Barnidge. Eric Decker versus Sean Drone. Ronnie Hillman versus Calvin Johnson. Michael Crabtree versus Brandon Cooks. Graham Gano, Stephen Ganowski. That's going to change. My defense is going to change. So I'm not even going to say it, but they got the Packers in right now.
So you might be switching to either the Rams,
Bears. There might be a couple of changes in my lineup. I got it.
You got to really sit down and analyze.
Really.
So let me ask you this: Is there any chance of Drew Brees going into the lineup?
No.
Outdoors. Okay, no. So you're locked at the. So the only thing that might change is
how can I come off Ryan Fitzpatrick right now? He's fucking firing right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let me ask you this: They have Eli Manning projected for 23, right? And we know that the projections always tend to be low, right?
Especially
you're going to be finished on Sunday. How much do you have to be up? What's the minimum amount of points that you want to be up
against Eli
to feel comfortable going against a shitty Miami defense?
I'm going to say 35.
45. 35.
35.
Right, I'm asking for the minimum. 35. So you got it. So you
35.
35 points. Okay. I was just curious. Because everybody always has a number going into Monday night to be like, if I'm up 15, if I'm up 20, I feel like I got a really good chance to win.
He's the only guy you got Monday night?
I believe so. I don't think he has a Dolphin, right? Sunday.
Oh, they're all 1 o'clockers, too.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a Sunday nighter.
Yeah, well, he's got the kicker.
Okay.
But, yeah, it looks like you're actually kind of split at the 405s and the 1s. You got a couple 405s in there. Like Rodgers, Hillman right now, Crabtree. Yeah, so.
I'm actually hoping Spiller sits out, or not Spiller, C.J. Anderson sits out this week.
And then just throw Hillman in. And
even though Hillman's hurt, too. He's got like a foot injury or something.
So. All right. So going down. Prestige
McFadden
side.
might make his way back in. I don't know yet. I got to really sit down and think about it.
Who's he got this week? The Packers?
Packers, yeah. I figure they're going to be down big and they're not going to fucking run the ball.
All right. So, I like Eli Manning this week. D'Angelo just continues to get work. Allen Robinson, that guy's getting fucking
It's
peppered
going to be
with
one
targets.
of the toughest matchups I've had all year.
Gary Barnidge, I think, really takes a hit with no Josh McCown. Sean Drone going against Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland fucking stinks. Sean Drone's
So does San Francisco, though. So.
The only thing is like, and this I always preach this in fantasy. I'm always looking for guys who get volume, and I didn't say this when the actual pickup happened. When they picked up Sean Drone, I had $5 on him. They had $5 on him, and I told Joe this the following day, but they got him on the tiebreaker because they were higher in the order. He is literally the only guy getting work in that backfield. There is nobody else touching the ball.
He carried the ball 13 times.
Mm-hmm.
13 for 36. It's not like he's
right,
playing.
but he did he catch like 5 or 6 balls?
He caught
right,
balls.
So he's also getting another six points plus the yardage with.
Right.
So I mean, in a PPR, the guy's getting work.
Right.
Calvin Johnson against St. Louis. I think this is really going to hinge on whether Janoris Jenkins plays. I know he left with a concussion. I haven't read if he's going to play or not. Cooks, outdoors. Same thing with Breeze. I'm not in love with Cooks.
I actually like the Crabtree play this week.
You like that, huh?
Yeah.
See, I don't like the Crabtree play on your side.
Really? You don't think Denver? You don't think it's going to be a shootout?
No, because I think Denver can match up. Denver plays straight man-to-man, and they got the corners to play. So.
Yeah, but obviously their best is going to be on.
Right. But here you go. Back in week 5, Crabtree went 4 for 54 against Denver. Really struggled. Same thing. I guarantee you that's exactly why they took Amari Cooper out of the lineup. What did Amari Cooper do against Denver? He caught 4 for 47. So they both had about 9. Crabtree outscored him by 0.3 of a point. So I mean, Denver goes straight man to man, and then they just bring the house. So. So you got Ronnie Hillman in there now. Eric Decker, you just can't argue with the results. He stunk. He wasn't that good last year, but he's much better this year. Brandon Marshall is, without a doubt, if not top 5, he's definitely a top 10 wide receiver.
Without a doubt, he's top 5.
You think he's top 5? Yeah. I would have to check the
numbers. He's been over 100 yards.
I understand that. But there's also a lot of guys that go over 100 every week. So, and who had monster games. But, yeah. But he had a little bit of a lull in here, weeks 9, 10, and 11. But as of late, yes, he's tearing it up. So, I'm not going to argue with you on that. But that's why I said he's, without a doubt, top 10 and maybe a top 5 wide receiver. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, you can't argue with the results. The guy throws at least 2 touchdowns every time he plays. There's only been one game where he hasn't thrown 2 touchdowns. No, I'm sorry. 2? Yes. Yeah, 2.
I just like the
but in the other one, he rushed.
I mean, his last 2 games, he got 41, 46.
Right. So, oh, yeah, he's absolutely playing well. So, I need a pick. Obviously.
You know who I'm going with. I mean, I know this is going to be a tough matchup.
This is a real tough matchup.
For me. I mean, for him, I hope Allen Hurns plays just to take some of the relief off of Allen Robinson, so he doesn't kill me. I don't know. It's going to be a tough one for me.
It really is. I think
I need Charkandrick West to have a game like he did.
Did you ever?
I was going to say explode. I'm going to need him to have the games that he did have before he got hurt.
Okay.
And it's going to be hard because Spencer Ware is starting to take some of his carries away.
Yeah, you have some interesting decisions to make. So your lineup's still not finalized, or it could be finalized.
Could be.
It could not be.
We'll see.
I think this game really hinges on just what Eli Manning can do and what D'Angelo Williams can do. I figure Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to go for about 30, and most of that's going to go to Marshall and Decker. My one concern with the Jets game is that they get out in front of the Titans and then they just fucking run the shit out of the football. Last week they played from behind that entire game. So that's why Ryan Fitzpatrick's numbers were so big last week.
Tennessee's playing good. Mariota's playing good.
Yeah, this game is. I don't agree with the
I never agree with projections.
With the projections, I think it's a lot closer than 15 points. Oh man!
Honestly, I do think Prestige has an edge on me. But I've gone against the edge all year, so.
Ooh, going against the edge all year.
I actually think Richard Rodgers is going to have a fantastic game.
You do, huh?
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know.
Right.
But I think Richard Rodgers is going to have a good game.
All right. It's a really tough matchup to pick.
All right, so just pick a team.
I'm going to pick what?
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking Prestige the whole way, and I don't know. I just really looking at this, I don't like Brandon Cooks outdoors. I don't know about Barnage with Manziel. I mean, Allen Robinson's going to get his, but I think Cincinnati's they should be okay. I think you're going to get enough production to get by Prestige. So, if that was to happen, Matt, you would take on Optimus in the second round?
Really? I thought I was going to have to play Kev.
No.
Holy Chip.
No.
I just looked at it.
Nope. You have to remember that graph, that playoff bracket, is not fixed because we reseed after every round. Because I play the lowest remaining seed, so with you being 6, we would play in the, and that would mean that Holy Chip in both scenarios takes on the Fleeners. So, go ahead. So let's just do a. So in your scenario, obviously you have yourself beating me, right? So you would take what? And then who would you play in the championship? You would have a Holy Chip Fleener semifinal.
What?
Who would you take? Right now, with your predictions
Holy
on
Chip
this week,
Fleeners?
Yeah, in week 15.
Right now, I'm going to say Fleeners.
So you're going to take the Fleeners. I have already gone ahead and looked at the week 15 matchups. Even with all the injuries, I would take Holy Chip. I do not like any of the Fleeners matchups next week. They are actually very tough. So in your scenario, what would play the Fleeners, and then you would have yourself winning, right?
Correct.
Okay. In my scenario, I play Holy Chip, and I think my team's built for those 2 weeks. I would have myself winning. Obviously, I'm not going to pick against myself. So, you've seen the teams that are out there. You know who's out there. What team do you think poses the biggest threat, other than yourself?
I think you and Prestige right now.
So if you don't get by Prestige, you think Prestige has the ability to probably win it?
Yeah, they definitely have the ability to win it.
All right.
So I mean, all the teams right now do. The only team that
I think
I'm down on right now. It's Kev's team, but I mean, by no means is it like his fault. It's just his.
It's just too many injuries, right?
Just decimated his team.
I actually think Fresh Legs has a good chance. I think I like Fresh Legs, and I like Fleeners, and that's what made that game so tough to pick. That's what made that game really so tough to pick. If I had to lean one way or the other, obviously I would lean Fleeners because I picked them to win in week 14, and then Fresh Legs would be eliminated. But yeah, I think the Fleeners, if Rodgers catches fire, that's right. But every team's a big if, and it comes down to game flow and just matchups.
Yeah.
But that's
a lot of question marks, a lot of guessings.
That's it. So most likely this was the last podcast because obviously we're not going to get together just to do 2 games and preview 2 games and then and then review 2 games and then preview the championship.
Maybe we'll do a final
a week 16 to recap the entire playoffs.
just to recap the entire season. Talk about next year. Talk about.
Okay.
You know,
All right. Yeah, I'm down for that. Yeah. So maybe we'll do
talk
that.
about maybe we'll make our own top 10 list of next year's first top 10 picks.
I would go Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald,
I'd go Ryan Fitzpatrick,
Justin Tucker. You got to get Tucker in the first round. All right. Yeah. So maybe we'll do that over the holiday break or something. We'll sit down and we'll kind of hammer out what happened this season. Maybe the draft board is actually hanging in my garage, so maybe we could pull the draft board down and see where people went wrong.
You might need a whole case of beer for that one.
Ooh.
Sounds like a 2-hour one.
Maybe we'll cut the podcast in half. Do a part one and
episodes
and
Season
part
one.
deuce.
Season 1.
Almost like a 30 for 30.
All right,
What
guys.
what if I told you that one too many ruined their entire draft in the first 2 rounds?
I would believe you.
Yeah. So, all right. For those who owe me money, get me my money. Most of those people are the people who are not in the playoffs, so maybe they're not even listening to this, but they know who they are. To everybody else, it's been a great season. Really, best of luck in the playoffs. Obviously, there can only be one winner, but, best of luck to everybody.
All right. Good luck, guys.
All right. Take care.